Welcome aboard the iFit trainer. I am Casey Zaugg. Today we are at the Kai Reng floating market in Con Tum, Vietnam. Today will be the first of our FTP interval workouts of the series, so let's get our feet wet. We have gotten off the boat and we're starting our warm-up here in Con Tum, Vietnam. Get those legs spinning. Let's keep a cadence of about 60 right now. Get your RPE or rated perceived exertion up to a 2 to 3. We want to get the blood flowing since today, as I mentioned, is the first FTP interval workout. We will have 2 8-minute functional threshold power intervals with 3-minute rest in between. During that effort, we will hold an RPE of 7 to 8. This means that we are going to work on building up those mitochondria powerhouses that will allow you to deliver a certain amount of power for about an hour. Your functional threshold power means you will not be going anaerobic today. The goal is to create that very uncomfortable threshold so you can become accustomed to improving it. We started the series of our advanced performance efforts here in beautiful Vietnam with a VO2 interval. Then we had that super fun tempo, an endurance base, and now the FTP. Today is our first of the FTP intervals, and it's gonna be a blast. We already got to see the beautiful Kai Reng floating market here in the Mekong Delta area at the south end of Vietnam. I don't know what's more vibrant, being on the water, seeing all those boats weaving in and out selling their agricultural goods, or the buzz and the hum of the motorbikes and cars and people going through their daily lives here in Con Tum. I can tell you for sure though that we are absolutely gonna have a blast during our intervals today. Remember, keep your cadence at around 60 right now. We've got just under 2 minutes of warm-up left. RPE of 3. It'll be common throughout this series to navigate these narrow corridors. Xin chào. To avoid dogs coming out in front of us. And of course, beep, 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 beep. A few tourists here and there too. Just gotta let ourselves be known. Don't need to be rude. These fun little alleyways, the back streets of Vietnam, where you get to really see the daily lives of this beautiful people. 45 seconds of warm-up, so I want you to ramp your RPE to a 4, trending 5 now. Increase your cadence between 60 and 70. I want us to be ready to just really push it for that first 8-minute interval. Though we are riding road bikes here in Vietnam, sometimes I feel like we'd be better suited with a mountain bike, given some of the techie turns, navigation, dirt, gravel that we encounter. But that's beside the point, because we have our first FTP interval starting up in 3, 2, 1, hit it. Xin chào. RPE 7 to 8. Increase your cadence between 70 and 80 here. Remember, the name of the game is to hold a steady effort in a very narrow band. Your functional threshold power is the level where you will not be going anaerobic and you're not going to fatigue quickly. It hurts, and it's not something that's a walk in the park by any means. But if you go out too strong, that means you're gonna have to dial it back quickly, otherwise you'll fatigue and you won't get the most out of the workout. Conversely, if you don't go out strong enough and you're feeling a little refreshed, or at least your legs are fresh enough to push it more at the end, then ramp it up a little bit. Over the course of the series, or through other iFit series, you should be able to gauge what that level is. And then you can establish the watts, or the power that you're putting out. And over time, as you can continue to do this series with me, you'll see that tick up. And at your next weekend race or ride with your friends, you'll be laying down 2, 3, 5, 10% more power for the same perceived exertion. And all your friends are gonna be wondering, what have you been up to? And you'll just say, I don't know, I was riding around Vietnam. Xin chào. No big deal. Having some fun, enjoying adventures. How are you feeling? Are you holding that cadence at around 70 to 80? Let's kick up the speed just a titch here. Go up to about a 90 RPM. Hold a solid RPE of 8 just for a bit. These narrow alleyways are a blast to ride. Always got to keep your head up for people popping out of their doors on their way to the market, headed off to work, or just prepping for the day. Xin chào.
Hello.
Or they're just hanging out to cheer us on. Turn left here. Nice work. Navigate that. A little bit of a hairy turn there. Let's keep going. Hold that cadence. 70 to 80. Navigate these cars backing up. It's all part of the craziness in Vietnam. As I mentioned earlier, we started our ride on the iFit trainer, of course, at the Cai Rang floating market. We are here in the Mekong Delta region at the south end of Vietnam. And this area, this city, Con Tar, is where everyone aggregates in the Delta region here to bring in all of their agricultural goods. And the floating market is where both wholesalers and retailers come to sell their products. I saw some really fresh pineapple and watermelon that I hope to go purchase at the end of this ride to go get some calories, a little bit of hydration in the form of that yummy fruit juice, and of course, a little treat at the end always makes the effort all the more worth it. Hold that cadence, 70 to 80 right now. You're keeping your RPE at a 7 to 8, right? You're doing awesome. I want you to lead out ahead for a bit here. Fun little alleyway, unobstructed views for a bit. Why don't you go see what Contour Vietnam looks like firsthand. It's always fun to be able to zip by people on their motorbikes. Because of course, we're holding down an FTP interval. Speaking of which, less than 2 minutes to go on this one. You are doing awesome. There's a saying at the Kaireng floating market: you hang what you don't sell, and you sell what you don't hang. And what that references is the fact that a lot of people are actually living on these boats. And so their laundry and their other personal belongings and effects, they'll have hanging on hangers or just out to dry. They're not selling that. What they have stocked up, sitting in their inventory, they're not going to hang that because they want to sell it. Another interesting note is the fact that to advertise what they're selling, they'll put one of them up on the top of a bamboo pole as an example, almost as a banner. So if it's a pineapple salesperson, they'll just stick one of those thunk right up on top of a pole. So the people floating around looking to buy product know exactly where they need to go if they need to get some pineapple. 10 seconds to go on this interval. You've been holding out that FTP level, 7 to 8 RPE, wonderfully. 3, 2, 1, cone it back. Woo! Nice work. Very good. It is hot and humid in Vietnam. So I want you to get a quick sip of water. Hydrate. It's of great importance to ensure your nutrition is just as dialed in as is your efforts. Keep spinning. Watch for motorbikes in the intersection. Let's keep going. Nice work. Navigating those intersections is always a little bit of an effort or workout in and of itself. Almost get your heart rate up to a VO2 max level, given how many motorbikes you may see weaving in and out. You just go with the flow in the controlled chaos. Halfway through this rest before we knock out our next and final FTP interval. Keep your cadence at about 60 to 70 here. RPE of 3 to 4. I want you to keep putting in a decent amount of effort, because as I said, FTP is not taking you to an anaerobic level at all. You have a lot more to give, even though at times it may not feel like it. So let's keep our spin in here pretty solid. And don't worry, we'll have a cool down. We'll have a final rest. Plenty of time to spin out the legs. Flush out some of that lactic acid, which isn't necessarily the enemy. But post-workout, cool down, stretching, hydration, nutrition, all important. Especially given you're working on this advanced series with me. And you're doing awesome, by the way. 15 more seconds before we start the next FTP interval. We're gonna go out at an RPE of 8, cadence of 80 to 90. 3, 2, 1, go! Great job. Fantastic work. Nothing like spending 8 minutes Cincho in the saddle, knocking out an FTP interval with the locals cheering us on. For me personally, starting today's ride at the floating market, where agricultural goods, food, particularly plants, vegetables, fruits, is meaningful because my days of racing are largely over and I've moved more into the realm of nutrition and health, which is why I created and founded Trail Truffles. I think we as a society, rightly so, all over the world, are moving more to plant-based diets, focusing on clean ingredients, not only for the good of ourselves, but for the good of the planet. Because we can't enjoy and appreciate these beautiful locations if we destroy them. And certain farming practices, particularly animal-based products, are a little heavier. Hello, hello. But as I was saying, moving more to plants in our diets, focusing on regenerative agriculture, being conscientious of what we put in our mouths and the impact it has on the planet, I think is good, not only for business in general, but the long-term outlook for this beautiful planet that we get to explore during this training series. For me personally, I eat a flexitarian diet where I'm not strictly plant-based, but I try to keep as many vegetables and fruits and plants throughout the day as possible. But every so often, I'll do eggs. I'm not a big fan of dairy and some lean meats, fish. But each person is different and their body fuels differently. And so you need to find for yourself what works the best and stick to it, and make sure you're eating adequate calories before and after these workouts, and for extended rides, make sure you bring proper calories, not just simple sugars, but some complex some protein and fat, especially for long endurance events. Your body needs to fuel from food. Test out what works for you. It's taken me many years to figure this out for myself. And so as part of this series, be thoughtful and conscientious of the calories you're putting in, because health and wellness are paramount if you want to see and appreciate these gains. Woo! Oh, keep cranking over this bridge. High resistance here for a sec. Keep spinning though. RPE of 8. Three and a half minutes left. Come on, you got it. 3.5 minutes left in this FTP interval. You have been doing so amazingly well today. This has been an epic ride so far. Starting at the floating market, navigating these narrow corridors along canals and riverfronts, getting to see and experience Vietnam firsthand this way has been so great. And I hope the diversity of our workouts, VO2, tempo, endurance, and FTP will keep you coming back for more and more in this and other series. If you're interested, you should absolutely check out the Norway series, which is also an advanced power and performance workout where we explore the northwest coast and the fjords of beautiful Norway. Totally different environment. And if riding across beautiful Norway isn't your thing, which it absolutely should be, then check me out as we explore Moab on the mountain bikes. That is the mecca of mountain biking. You have to go explore the Slick Rock Trail with me on another series. That one's all train to terrain because it's on the mountain bike. It's a ton of fun. It's beautiful there, otherworldly. Just over a minute to go on this FTP interval. We've got a left-hand turn here. Zip on over the bridge, out of the saddle just for a few seconds with me. Come on, quick, 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 Xin Chao. Hold that RPE, 7 to 8. Cadence of 70, 80. We got less than a minute to go now. You are doing awesome. Let's finish this one strong and go at a full RPE of 8 to wrap up today's effort. So fun navigating these streets, these narrow alleyways and passages along these canals in the Mekong Delta region of southern Vietnam. Feeling good holding it. 3, 2, 1. Okay, pull back. That was an amazing finish to that interval. I'm so proud of you for going so strong to wrap up our FTP intervals today. We've got 3 minutes now of rest. Oh, Xin Chao. And then a 5-minute cool down. With that awesome effort, you probably sweat a bit, maybe a lot bit. So grab some water to hydrate. because I know I need it in this intense Vietnamese heat. You can work your RPE now down to a 3 to a 4. Keep that cadence around 60 to 70 though. Resistance isn't super high right now, so we'll just enjoy this spin to wrap up our effort today. This has been awesome. Beautiful canals that we follow here through the Delta region. Oh wow, they're painting lines now. Keep people in their lane because of how twisty-turny the navigation is here. That's a good thing, I think. Good job. Sometimes those turns really kind of pop up on us, don't they? We're going to be finishing our workout today at a Buddhist monastery. What makes this one especially unique is it's of the Zen Buddhism faction of the religion, which was actually, oh hello, started, beep 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 beep. It's actually started here in Vietnam. So we'll get to finish at a quintessentially Vietnamese Buddhist temple that's unique to this area in Con Tum. We're now at our cool down. I want you to drop your RPE 2 to a 3 here. Keep that cadence light at 50 to 60. Really just lightly spin it out here. We almost get to spend as much time navigating through these turns. Oh, that looks fun. Too bad we're not done with the effort. We could have gone into that. It looked like a little amusement park or something. Quick little turn here. I think everyone is headed, oh look, a cute little bear. Woo! Everyone's headed off to that amusement park or garden or zoo or whatever it was. It looked like a lot of fun. So maybe after we get our Zen on at that monastery, we'll have to go have a little fun. Because if we're in Vietnam, we better do what the locals do and celebrate the Lunar New Year in style. Drop your RPE to about a 2 to 3. Cadence of around 50 to 60 now. Really light spinning as we wrap up this ride. Oh, this was so fun. Those FTP intervals really work you, and it's important to keep building those up. as we get stronger. We're gonna turn left up here. The principle of looking both ways is of utmost importance in Vietnam, especially given there's like 3 different ways to ride. Let's look at this really quick. Look at that beautiful shrine. Okay, spin around lightly. We've arrived at the courtyard of the Zen Buddhist monastery. Thank you for doing those awesome FTP intervals with me today. We got to start at the Cai Rang floating market and now finish with such a beautiful location here in Can Tho, Vietnam. I am Casey, your iFit trainer. This performance and advanced effort series is going to be phenomenal. So thank you now for finishing the first set of VO2 tempo, endurance, and FTP intervals. Join me for the next VO2 interval. Until then, keep spinning. Peace.